Hello, my name is Marlu Martin, and I am a student of FIU. And my teacher has asked me to interview someone that is culturally different from myself for the class. And this is my interview lesson. And here I have my guest. Please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Uh, Hello, I'm Noor. Noor is my nickname, Noor Ahmed, and I live in Pakistan. I work with the Special Olympics Pakistan, and that's I'm employee of the organization, and I work with uh, two uh, two organization voluntarily. One organization that works on autism, and another organization that works on human rights. So I have been working with one organization, Senior Human Rights Commission, for the last 6 years. Another organization, I'm one of the advisors of the organization, and I'm native of one of the uh, district Mirpukhas, that's the province of Sindh. I have two sons, one is studying in grade ninth, and another older who is studying in first year. I have lovely wife who's very supportive to me. So very small family. Uh, yes, Marla.
Thank you, Nor. So I thank you for letting our viewers know the context of the interview. And now my first question to you is, what do you think is special or different about being part of your culture?
Yeah, different in the sense how I see, or different in the sense that okay, how you view, or to me, because I know what culture of Sindh and the Pakistan is. Here we have Sindh province, Balochistan, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and Punjab. They all have geographical, conditions, and the cultures are vary as compared to other provinces. In the history has been very the people of Sin never really resisted or occupied any territory, and that they are known as a very peaceful. And but there are the provinces, the mountainous, like the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. So they have the influence, the climatical and geographical. So there, the culturally, if I see, the culture varies, and especially in the sense, really, there is a lot to do that I have been doing as compared to really, so for the when I see different perspectives, friend living in different countries, so I see really, system needs to be changed, and education. There are a number of things one by one we will be discussing. I really see special in the sense, in the context that I have been contributing and I'm contributing. And that's because there's a lot of work to do, and I'm connected, very strongly connected to the people. Have been working for the last 10, 11 years in development sector, for the last 6 years, working with the Senior Human Rights Commission as a member subcommittee on human rights. So really, I have purpose, and have personal values. And when I see friends living, and when I talk to them, and then I feel really it's my moral responsibilities really to is many youth, especially women, girls, really to be connected to them and to know about different perspectives that I share with them. So I see in that context, in that sense, very special. Yeah, I have been contributing.
You have a very special job. I've known you for several years, and I'm in awe of everything you do for your communities and for your for your country.
Yeah, special in the sense, let me add here, I work with the Special Olympic Pakistan, and there are the children with intellectual disabilities. And you know that there are no institutes. There are, I just give the example of the district I'm the native of the district Mirpukhas. In the more than 20,000, 20 lake. There's a population of more like 20 lake population in the whole district. There are only four governmental institute for the children with the special needs. So that there are seven talkas, and only in two talkas there are the that special educations institutes for the children. In the remaining five talkas there are no special educational institutes where the children don't have access. So that from that point of view, and then on there are the cases, I'm connected to the people, then I document the cases, and when I see really girls, women, and marginalized communities, and so really, that the bias is rooted systematically. There are the things we will be discussing about that. So I see really a very special in that context, in that sense. Really, I have the purpose, I have the goal, and I think that what I'm doing, the efforts really that make my life very meaningful. And I'm also mentoring my both sons. My wife is very supportive. We are four. We have conversation. I share with them, and at one hand, I'm really mentoring them, preparing them, teaching them the life skill to for they are really young. They are learning about the things. They will be playing their role, and this will continue. Whether I am or not, they will continue. So they are learning about the personal values, and in the way I really conduct training of students, teach students, and conduct training of teachers, then conduct training of youth. I'm very much connected to them. Then I have circle of friends. I keep exchanging ideas. I keep really exploring and learning new perspectives, and the new perspective, whatever suppose that the friend shares, the same I pass on, the same I share with them, and they learn different perspective. What I have really, that seen, or I have felt when I share with them, they really, that appreciate, and they are learning. I see really, that it will take time, but they tell Noor, really, these are the different and new perspectives. There's no such a really thing than what I have been doing. I'm not telling that I'm doing really wonderful, but I see this as my moral responsibility, that I see really what I'm doing, making my life meaningful in the sense I'm sharing very generously, trying to really share the different perspective, global perspective, from friends living in different in all provinces sharing. So the way really information and the quality information is being shared, and very really we are very much open. We are very much open to discuss, to learn. So that's the first
Great.
question you asked about how I see myself. So for the special, the role or from that.
Yes, and you also answered your goals in your in how you help the community and what your legacy is. So I'm grateful that you answered those questions. I meant to ask them, so that's perfect. I wanted to know also, and I'm just gonna throw this at you because I didn't mention it before. How do you see the Western culture different from yours? What is different about it?
Here, really, I the conversation I have with friends, and what I see, the more they are entitled, they have privileges, they have rights, and I don't know why. The more really, I don't know really if I see here women living life here, really, the girls and the transgender, and that the marginalized communities, and when I see the life of the women living there, and the miss, people. belonging to different segments in Western countries. I see a lot of difference. I don't know really, despite having really privileges, despite having lots of rights, and they enjoy. I fail to understand then why really they don't feel very much really they rather than enjoying, rather than really means feeling very much proud. And I see a lot of grudges, I see a lot of complaints, I see a lot of negativity. I don't know why. I really don't understand this. But here, if you compare the life, I should not, but when talking about the lives of the women and girls here, uh, they live very difficult life. They, even the women, most of the women and girls really don't know about. I'm talking about the rural women living in the villages. They even don't know about the rice. They even don't know. Even there are the women who have not heard about the rice, liberty, freedom, unthinkable. They don't know, because that as if you read the newspaper, that okay, the literacy rate is 57%, and but ground reality, I'm talking about the ground reality. I'm connected to the people really. There are the different cases that I report and document, and then I know what the facts are, what the ground reality is. I'm very much grounded. So that still women are treated here like they're like property of men. Girls, in villages, I give the example of one village, only one village, you can understand it. At the primary level, girls, are enrolled. And then after the primary, there are no, even at the primary level, means grade 5, there are no facilities. Then the multi-grading is there. Then, that the teacher's capacity, then the no accountability, transparency, no patient like this one. Okay, such things are not seen, like the teacher really go there with the patient, with the love to really transform the life, to teach the girls and the boys, to inspire them. There's no such thing. Rarely there are the teacher. One thing is the facilities are not there. And then what happens? And then the girls living in different villages, when the transport is not there, when they are not really carried, then the parent, whatever, due to the security issue, then what happens? Then okay, there's a dropout of the girls, and after the grade 5, you see the declining, means in this that the parents do not send the girls, and they do not really enroll the girls to the middle, and then metric grade 10. And then that
Why?
I,
Why
I,
don't the
was
parents enroll them?
actually, I wanted to give you example of the one village, for example, that if there are the 200 household, okay, from the 200 household only, that if they send uh, at the primary level, yeah, they send to the girls, 50% they send to the girls. Then what happened? Lack of the facilities, then insecurity, then what happens? The girls, 50% of them are dropped, and then that those who can afford, and the parents who understand and who value and who really that is the only education that can really bring about a real change in the life. They send the girls. Then most of the parents then don't. They send the girls to the middle in means metric, intermediate, and okay, university. So the that the when after the primary, girls are not enrolled, and okay, there's a decline in the enrollment. That's actually that. And so far, you know uh, and really bias, when I talk about that, okay, role of
Yeah.
the miss.
Okay.
Hello, are you getting? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I could. Yes, you can continue. What I'm hearing you say is that parents are not willing to put the girls in school, 10th grade, because
Yeah,
there's so much
yeah.
insecurity.
There are the different factors, different reasons. Factor there is, that here, that the bad governance. There's no check and balance, no monitoring, no. It is really means that the yeah. So far the biometric system they have introduced, but what happens? Really, it is not monitored what is taught to them. How are the girls taught to them? There's no quality education. Even if parents send them, even then students, children are unable to read and write and math, and okay, they are, most of them they don't. One teacher, 200 students, how can the teacher teach? And then capacity issue, then resources, no facility. I'm generally what I have seen, what I'm telling you, the generalist does it. Then the union of the teachers really, especially there is an organization of teachers, government school teachers, they have their own vested interest. Sadly, for their voice is good, they should raise their voice, but they actually they have their own vested interest. And then they really that means they capitalize in the sense, get the jobs of their family members, and they compromise actually. So there's a no principle, there's a no honesty and the integrity, we talk about that. So what happens that uh, as a result, that it is the girls really, that, or the poor families, they suffer. And another issue is that there are the, in rural areas, in villages, parents, most of them, they are the, that the farm workers, and the girls and the boys actually they assist to earn livelihood, Yeah, there is
Okay.
change as compared to the rural area, as compared to the rural areas. I mean, in urban areas, there is, the people live there and the school, they have the access to the school and the government school and private, as compared to the villages, yeah, as compared to really the rural areas and the villages. So for the education is concerned, okay, better than the villages, okay. But in the urban, in the cities, parents as compared to the parents living in villages, they are more aware, and they send their girls, and then like a police and the women police and the uh, uh, these, there are the facilities as compared to the villages. There really the situation is entirely different, as I mentioned, the different reason.
So
So
do you think that
another
we
base,
need more
yeah,
teachers?
corruption is rampant, and that's the reason. There's a no check and balance. There's a no accountability. Now, good thing is that government is inducting teacher, youth, qualified one. But it is still will take. Now, miss, that the teachers are not inducted or hired by the government education department. Means on political basis, or okay, a minister of provincial or national assemblies quota, or like this one, okay. Now the entirely, that the system is being changed in the sense, now the youth, there are the youth teacher, they are passionate, they are really they teach in rural areas, in urban as well. But it will still, there are the teacher who are older one, who are experienced one, and who were high, who were inducted, by the, they had the back of the politician. They still, they are very dominant. They don't teach even the science subject, they teach only the, the art, and okay, means the subject. And they even, I give you the example of a, the our teacher, female teacher, who told me, Noor, the first day she went to take a class, uh,
Uh-huh.
she also, she miss last month, she got the job, qualified and got it. She went to teach. It was her first day. She went to teach, and then she, in the evening, she sent me the text message. She said me, Noor, do you know what is the situation in school? There are really girls, they don't know. They are in 8th class, 9th grade, 8th class, 8th grade, 7th grade. Okay, they don't know about the really basic things, math, okay, math, and okay. So I said, what's the reason? Why? They said actually the senior teachers are not interested to teach them, and they don't. They just go there. Only one senior teacher who came there. There was a unit to take the class. She came there only for 50 minutes. She sat on the chair, and then she told, okay, she saw what's the time, and then okay, she left. And that then when she asked, okay, why you're not teaching? She said, okay, it's not your headache. So that is actually level of really, that the commitment and the sincerity and the patience. So the still the senior one hired, inducted, the older one, they are the really, that they are still creating problem. They have the monopoly. But now the new one, then they have been inducted. They are passionate. Change is coming. Yeah, change is
Change
coming,
is
but
coming.
but they actually they are still, that it will take time.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Lot to think about. Okay, let's change a little bit into how marriage is viewed in your culture. Not by you, because I know you, and I know that your marriage with your wife is beautiful and that she supports you. But what is marriage like in your culture, in your country? I've heard
Marriage,
that there's dual marriages. I've heard that there's like what's the role of marriage?
religion, so far marriage is concerned, actually the marriage should be the social contract. And let me tell you, that how the marriage is viewed here culturally, that this religion is very, religion influence a lot, that rituals, and then all rituals, religiously are followed religiously. The concept of marriage here, uh, it is the family, extended family, they decide. It is not the girl really. The girl is even not us. Now in the rural area, in urban, sorry, in the cities, the girls know, and those who go to the university or college, they know, and miss. There are the cases, yeah. But I'm talking about the culturally, and I'm talking about the majority of the girls living in the rural areas, even in cities. Girls consent is not sort of the girl. There's a no choice of the girl. It is the parents, it is the grandparents, it is the extended family member. They decide. It is not the individual. In most of the cases, I'm telling you, culturally, I'm telling you. Then that you cannot think. If there are the cases, I know what happened in the cases. Recently, last month case, I give the example of example what happens to you. A Hindu, not a Muslim, a Hindu girl, a Hindu young woman who married a Muslim man, hiding her identity. They lived for 5 years. Then what happened? They see the law. Laws are very discriminatory. Laws are flawed, and So what happened when a media person, that learned about it, went to the police station. First information report was registered against. No, the woman, yeah, woman was Muslim. Woman is a Muslim. Man was Hindu, not the Muslim.
Okay.
Okay, what happened? So here it is unthinkable. A Muslim woman can marry that a Muslim woman can marry a Hindu man. It is here. It is unthinkable. Hindu woman can marry by converting to Muslim men, but the Muslim women cannot even, religion does not allow. Then what happened? FIR was registered against the Hindu man. He was arrested, pressurized, media, and okay, that the religious, the clerics and all, even uh, civil society, they all really they said, okay, it's wrong, it's against the religion, and he was arrested. Then that. So what happened? Religion really influence a lot. So far religion marriage is concerned, it is a, yeah, even that there are the sect, there are the clans, there are the communities, they even intermarriages are unthinkable. I'm not talking within Muslim. There are the castes like a Narajo community, like a Sheikh community, Junejo community, different, family name.
Mhm.
They even their marriages are, and now the things are changing. In cities, the situation is entirely different. In rural areas, the situation is different. Still, there are people really who even girls don't know that they are going to be married off. Girls are not asked about, their consent is not asked. But there are the families even from rural areas. There is the parents, if the parents are educated one, they ask. But the majority, in the majority of the cases, really, the marriages are very much influenced by religion. And another thing, one thing, I had discussion with the friends. Then he gave me example of a Sufi poet, Sindhi Sufi poet and mystic. And he said Shah Abdul Latif, who is a very well-known poet of Sindh province, his poetry is about really, he has highlighted or praised a lot or promoted the role of the women and women. That not now. So he talked in the sense that okay, the days were really good now as compared to now. Now the radicalization, now the intolerance is growing, and then he gave the example of the poet Shah Abdul Latif. He gave the example of that how see the poetry of Shah Abdul Latif Bhitai. Then he has really, that highlighted. He has really promoted and uh, written about the women. So I said, yeah, he has written, but now what is the situation? How you see the situation? I had discussion with friends. How you see the situation? They said there's no doubt religion influences a lot. Religion, so far ceremony, but still so far that like a drum, like a dance, culturally dance, okay. There are miss in most of the marriages still it is not viewed negatively. But now the change is that so far the radicalization is concerned in the society in all provinces, including Sindh provinces, that is known as a piece of that land or where the people are very peaceful one. But it's here, that now it is really, that increasing. There's a rise in radicalization. People now view dance in marriage parties, drum very negatively now. Means now the change, the people, you can see the intolerance. So this is also the the one of the now factor. I see how the religion is being really being used as a tool, and intolerance is growing, and even music and dance is being viewed negatively. Not majority by majority of them, but I see this is also now there's a rise in that.
So if the family is the one that makes a decision for the girl, um, is there an age minimum to get to have a girl betrothed?
Yeah, we have
To
law. We have law in Sindh province. We have law under 18. Marriage is punishable under 18 years old. Marriage is unlawful. In Punjab, under 16, marriage is punishable. But if the girl or boy both are 16 years old, they can marry. And another thing, uh, there are the still cases are reported underage girls. That the marriages are not reported in the media, but I know, and there are the cases that I also reported. Still, there are the areas. It depends areas to area. There are the areas like Tharparkar where there's a lot of coals are being excavated, and so what happened where the people uh, that the government is paying them a lot of money to against vacating their land, and so what happened, they are using the money to buy the girls. There is area, or there are the areas they are using the money to buy girls, underage girls, and to marry them. And then one thing is that now the that Nadra, Nadra that registered the data that means national identity card. There's the data of all means data of the citizen, 18 years, under 18 years, children, they have the data. So now it has been mandatory for citizens to have the national identity card. And so as a result, now people really, that they are registered, girls are registered, women are registered 18. When they get 18 years old, they are registered. And then, that this is also really, to some extent, not really, means checking, or I can say, uh, before what would happen, and still there are cases that are reported. The girls, they even don't have the national identity card. They don't have the their age cannot be determined because they are not enrolled in the school. So what happened? 16 years, 14 years, they are married, they are sold. There are the cases, I tell you. So hello, Maluk, I can't hear you. Hello.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. The parents are the ones that sell the daughters?
Yeah,
Okay,
parents, still there are the it's from different areas. Not only here, I give the example of the cases that I really reported, the cases I know personally. I'm telling you,
right.
a girl, 14 years old girl who was studying, in a school, and then her father, who had also sold her sister before. Pakistani 4 lakh rupees he had sold before. The girl, that I really, how I learned about this case, and how really I learned about this case, because time to time, I would also pass, by the school, and would visit the school. And one day I went this. I'm telling you, this happened last year, 16 years, sorry, 14 years ago. So the head teacher, that she told me, sir, do you know Farzana? Her name is Farzana. So the girl Farzana, she was sold. She was married off. I said she was a very, that young, and 14 years. And how come? She said, I said, okay, do you have any evidence? And then they had records, they had date of birth and everything. I went to the parents. The parents, first they did not. They said, no, 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 no. The girl is gone to other area where the sister living. Her sister is living. She's there. Then I kept really, that I had personal contacts, and I came to know that okay, she was married, and not only she was married out, but she was sold. So what happened? I informed the police. Then after then I told the a teacher that, if, because in the, near the family lived, and school, near the school, actually the family lived. So I told them, please tell me, whenever the girl visit here with the spouse, okay, please let me know. What happened? After a few days, they phoned me. The girl and her spouse are here, sitting now there. Please, if you can come there. Okay, I went there, and that I went there, and before, I think 15 minutes, when I reached, 15 minutes before they left. I don't know, someone informed them or not. Then what happened? I phoned the police station officer, police. I phoned him. I phoned him, and by sending the evidence, the picture, every detail, informing that the man who is 40 years old and the girl's age is 40 years old, the man's age, father age, and the girl's age 14 years old. I said, both are here, the girl and the man, both are here. Please, okay, you come, and okay, you raid the house and arrest the man. What happened? Police, I tell you the words of the women police station, women police officer. She said, now they are married, what we can do, nothing will happen to you, let them. I said, what are you talking about? Then why you are for? You have your responsibility, you have your job, you have, that's the reason you are here. And then she told me, uh, you need to be very realistic. I said, what do you mean? You want me to be realistic in what sense? She said, you need to be realistic in the sense, if we bring them before the judge, nothing will happen. Because you know what happened? Because they are married. And there is the Muhammadan law, and there is still the Islamic Council. There are the cases. What happened? There were that even in the media it was reported, there were some cases that were really, after years, what happened? That the girls were allowed to go to the spouse despite underage. But there were some cases, and then there were the real judgment or the verdict that okay, the men were punished. There are the different cases. Both cases, that miss were really punished and were sent, the women, the girls underage, were sent with the sport, because their age is determined for their board. The doctors board is really constituted. They determine from the, I don't know, really bones. They have their own way. So actually they determine, if the girl is under 16, then that really, then the Islamic Council influence, then the lawyer really, that they it's still very debatable. So history of the really course is also not the really very good one. In some cases, yeah, the judges, it depends, it's the discretion of the judges to decide whether to punish or not to punish. Okay. So there are the cases, I'm giving example of really the cases that I documented and I reported. There are the cases. In most of the cases, culturally, if I see, consent of the girl is not sought. Consent of the girls are not. Even really, there are the girls, because of the illiteracy, their opinion is not formed. They don't know about the really. Even that I give the example here. Even when they have the when menstruation, like they don't know about the, okay, really say, they are not provided the things that they, like the pairs, they are not okay. And even sex is viewed very negatively here. Culturally, sex is viewed very negatively. And if the girl is not, even there are the really families, most of the families, they don't, girl is not allowed, women is not allowed to go outside of home alone. I saw, okay, that means the one thing, okay, they think that it's not, it's a really matter of the honor. And if someone sees the woman, then really it is not a good thing, is not viewed in that sense very negatively. And then insecurity issue of the really, they feel insecure. Then their case happens sexually, that they're abused or like such things. But girls, as I said earlier, consent of the girls is not really sought. And the cases I give you, see how really, that and the whole system is very biased, and the bias is rooted. I tell you, if if a man, married man, who does not want to continue her marriage and want to leave the woman, and then he has the excuses, the woman does not have the good character. And then who decide and how they decide, it's up to the man. Her character is not good, she is very bad tempered, then divorce 3 times.
What happens to
Say,
the woman then?
you are divorced, and then okay, it is really, that okay, she are divorced. And then if a woman, how difficult her life is, how hellish really she lives a life, and she cannot say the same thing the way the man says. Okay, a woman cannot say you are divorced, you are divorced. It is there in law. There is no such thing. Yeah, the woman will have to file an application in the court, for the judge would have to recuse the judge. She does not want to live with that man, Then, judge calls both parties, and then the case is heard, and they are told to sit once again to resolve okay, sit together, and then, okay, try to resolve your, whatever that, suppose that the differences is, okay, resolve. And the judge tries to not really, that dissolve the marriage. So then, if the woman does not want to live, then okay, the marriage is dissolved. But one thing, in the paper, marriage, when the marriage certificate, in Urdu, in Sindhi, in local language, it is called the nikah nama. Nikah nama is like a marriage certificate. Means, there are two witnesses from the party of the girl and woman, and two witnesses from the party of the man, they witness, and then that means hak moher, dowry or item, okay, is written. Dowry not, but okay, there is a particular term, I don't know, it is called in Urdu hak moher. Hak moher, like, okay, a certain amount is a security, certain amount is really, that is placed by a husband, by the man, that in case it is the the amount is of her wife. Whenever she needs, she can. And when what happens when marriage is dissolved, if she files an application, then she has to really, that she cannot claim 50 or 25%, 50% of the amount she cannot claim. She will have to, okay, only 50% of her. If suppose 10,000 rupees, for example, 10,000. Okay, if she files application in the court, then what will have to do? She can only claim 5,000, not 10,000.
Okay. Okay. Wow. See, I've learned a lot today.
But there's a there's a conjugal. I don't know how to pronounce the word conjugal rights. Like, okay, conjugal rights, I think. Yeah. So if a woman who leaves her husband and lives with her parents and does not come back, then even the man can go to the court, can file application that, okay, she is not really, fulfilling or meeting the needs of, I mean, okay, the conjugal, that, okay. So both can file application, but in most of the cases, it is a man that really files. But I rarely have heard any case that are filed by any woman.
Wow. Okay, so you have pretty much explained the roles of the female and the male in your culture. Pretty much the women are taking care of the house and the men are taking care of the business, like in most cultures. Um, do you know what the percentage of educated women is in your country compared to men?
And if you talk about the like surveys or any research, then there's a big question mark about the quality of the survey and the quality of the that such statistics.
Okay.
Those who conduct the survey, the way I know, really, the way surveys are conducted, there's a really big question mark about the way surveys conducted. Time constraint, quality, capacity, there's issue.
Yeah.
Generally, so for the education of the women is concerned, I think hardly, that 30 to 30 or 30 plus, okay, if as compared to the men, if really, that compared to both education. But as I
Thank
give
you.
you the example, what happened? As I give you the rural and urban wise or the province wise, it varies. That. As I gave you example of that in a village, to the grade 5, that the girls parents send the girls, and then, okay, and in 8 and grade 10, and then the okay, the girls, there's a dropout. Similarly, women really face lots of difficulty. There's no space for the women. They face discrimination. They are sexually, their sexual
Harass.
harassment they face. There are the cases. Then even under the section of law, the organization should have the committee really to address the issue, to address the grievances, or really to investigate the cases, but cases are not investigated. Then they are harassed not only in jobs, at the university students and the professor. They blackmail, they harass them for marks, for passing them, and there are the cases that are reported. So here it is very tough really for women to work, because they really, that they support the families, and they actually they support the family, and they that face lots of difficulty. There's no really supportive environment here. I give you the example of one woman here. I Last week I had discussion with her. She's a lawyer. She is a lawyer, and I give you example. She's educated one. You can imagine that for the women who are not educated one. I had a discussion with her. She had to leave her husband. She had to file application in the court of law, in court, because her husband was not meeting her needs. He was not working. She was working, and then okay, and then what happened? The man had relation with that with her, what should I say, his uh, sister-in-law, and I don't know relation in, okay, but he had a relation in the same house. He had relation with another woman, a very close one, and but he was not meeting needs of the woman, and neither financially nor that whatever suppose her needs were, he was not. And then that she, the man, her sisters, her mother-in-law, they all really very that really made her life very difficult, taunting, belittling. So she had to leave. Then what happened? She told me her, brothers, younger brothers, two younger brothers of her husband, who would send her the very, obscene text, very, very, very bad text messages to her that they wanted to have sex with her. Then I asked, okay, did your husband know that his brothers are also really, are really, wanted to have sex with her, and really, that means pressurizing her. She said he knew. He would always took lightly. He would say, no, 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 they are young, and okay, forget about. Even her mother-in-law knew. They would hold, they would hold her wrist, and then okay, she had to leave because of the reason she is now living in a rented house, and that her license, she has not means really has not got the license of the as a practitioner, as a lawyer. So she is still not really means practicing, okay, does not have the case she can earn from as a fee. So she is surviving. She told me, that Noor, what happened? She was living in a rented flat, one room flat. She was living in that, and she was surviving. So she, whatever saving she had, she spent. So I said, how would you live continuously? How would you survive? Now you don't have income. How would you? She said, okay, she would move in a smaller one. But I said, okay, you don't have any source of income, and how would you? So, she was very much worried, tension, stress. So she did not find any support. I said, your community members, your relatives, your family member, her father, that her mother, her father died, her mother, her brothers, when the day she left her husband, her brother really became against her. They said, why you left despite knowing you should not have left. They said she should not have left her husband. No matter in whatever situation she was living, she should not have left her husband. It was now matter of honor for them. So now imagine, she is educated one, lawyer. Imagine really the girls, the women who are not literate, they don't have any supportive mechanism. I can give you number of example after really of the cases. This is how the women are really treated, and even one of the girl, you know very well about the girl, Madhya. You know what happened? She graduated from engineering university. She wanted to continue, the study higher education for higher education. Her family, brothers, mother and father, they told her they no girl from their community, all community family members or community has ever really thought to have for higher education or for job. So don't think about that now. Okay, it's a time. Assist your mother and get married. Okay. She said no, she would not. She said she would not. She would study. She would attempt. She would really be officer. She has a dream. She want to realize a dream. What happened? Then really, that her brothers, her father, her mother, they all really, that their relation, became very toxic. They started beating her. Then really, she went to the police station. There, the women police station, SHO, women police officer said, okay, she told her that okay, next time her brothers would not beat her, her father, her mother would not beat her, that she would be treated, she would not be treated like the way she was being treated. Again happened. She was locked, she was beaten, she was really physically, psychically. Then she went to the court. She filed an application. Her case was heard. You know that. So she would tell me, Noor, when I go, when she said when she goes to the court, really from home to the court, she is, people really stare her as if they screen her whole body, screen. So very,
Because
that
she's walking by herself,
yeah,
right?
walking by herself, and then okay, the miss she really are she's scared, and then really the I tell you the I made in that case. I went to the investigation officer, male investigation officer who was investigating the case. I met him and I asked him, okay, please tell me what happened. The case of the young woman. He said, yeah, no, you have no idea. And he gave example. He said he met his family member. He knows very well background. He knows he met the girl. He has investigated the case. He said the only solution lies in marriage. She should marry. That's the solution. She should marry. That's the
Wow.
solution. I said, what about the law? I said, okay, there's a Domestic Prevention Protection Act. What about that? And here under section 5, that okay, there should be the district level, there should be the the protection committee. Where is the protection committee? She kept asking. She asked the even judge, sir, where is the protection committee? Psychiatrist, police officer, civil society member, where is? They should intervene. I need the help. I need the badly the support. They should intervene. Judge said, okay, it is not my it is not in my hand. You recuse the deputy commissioner, who would file the committee. So I was telling what happened when I made the investigation officer. His friends were sitting there. He was really as if he was enjoying. No confidentiality. His friend was sitting, and he was really, he said, okay, these laws are of the English people law, not a Muslim, and okay, I don't really, believe in such laws, and I'm telling you unofficially, off the record, these laws are really, are creating problems and child marriage. And I had discussion with him. I said, okay, domestic violence, these are the laws made by English people. These laws are really that not the solution. Only solution is that she is now her age is she should marry. So
So it
that
sounds
is
like
the
you
approach.
are going against the grain. Like your thoughts and your beliefs are different from pretty much the community.
Yeah, actually there's no community policing here. Very that in culture, the culture, I'm telling you, the culture of police. the officer, really, they are not trained in the sense they are not sensitized. They are in the police job, then there's a lot of corruption. Senior superintendent of police, superintendent of police, deputy inspector, deputy superintendent of police, hierarchy. Then that means they people really avoid to go to the court, to go to the police station, to go to the hospital, government hospital. Why? There is no service. They are treated very badly there, and they then very expensive. That there's a no concept of community policing. There's a no concept of community policing. The way when I interact with the friends, and then the way the police are very professional. They hear now there are a city level, okay, the division or city level. Now there are the facilitation center, but the facilitation center are not accessible to all living people living in the rural areas, the villages. Okay, it is accessible only to that the people living in the city. What about the majority of the people living in the rural areas, in the villages? They don't know. People don't know about the laws. What the laws are about? Laws are poorly consulted. People don't know about the law, and then unfortunately, and that really what the bad thing is that those the lawmakers, minister of provincial assembly, minister of national assembly, and the senator, most of them are very they are feudals, landlords. That they are really not interested in really bring about the change in the life of the people. So that's actually the big gap. People are disconnected. They are
What
disconnected,
about
and
criminals?
yeah.
Criminals are not getting what they deserve because of the corruption.
Here, there are two things. That so far the crime is concerned, there is, there are the people who are very professional and they commit the crimes. They are a very professional one, and then they are gangs, and it's like their business, and they have the backing, they have the support. And then there are the cases, yeah, illiteracy. There, there's a, uh, yeah, illiteracy also, that really leads to or the contributes, or it's also one of the factor. But I have not seen really common people becoming criminals. No, I have not seen people, no matter how really poor they be, no matter how really, harsh their condition be, and then, okay, they turn to be criminals. No, it's a very systematically, that it's a system that produces the criminals. It's a system. They have the really support, backing, organized in organized way. Literacy does, but not okay in the sense really literacy is producing. Yeah, in this sense, we can say that, okay, people are not, if they are educated, they can make the really good, very rational and good decision. They cannot, they have no alternative, and they are trapped in the really, they have no alternative, and they are trapped. The situation is like that, where they go, and they don't have I'm talking about the people living in the rural areas, peasant community, or the labor. Okay, they don't have their own land to live. They are very much dependent on the landlords. They are very dependent on the, okay, where they go. If they go against the landlord, the feudals, then police really, police files the cases against them. They use the police. The police is very politicized.
Let me ask you this, because I'm seeing that there is a difference of beliefs and difference of thought, and I see you as a very forward-thinking man. Do you think that being a forward-thinking man, a Muslim man, makes it easier or more difficult for you to get a job?
Honestly speaking, that I do not discuss things with my extended family members.
Very
If I
good.
see my sisters, my brothers, my mother, and they're really not in the sense, means they are very peace loving, but religion really, everything of theirs is influenced by religion. If
Yeah.
I give example of my extended family members, of my sisters, my brothers, except my older brother, you can imagine that, okay, time to time I am reminded why you are not offering prayer, why you are not offering prayer. Oh, what will happen? What will happen if you die? Then, okay, please think of that. Then I keep smiling, and then okay, I do not argue with them. I do know that, okay, but I respect them. I'm very much tolerant. I do not argue with them. I know it's their own, whatever their, that beliefs are, it is theirs, and why should I really for them? But whatever I can, means I keep setting example, really by action, practically. By, rather than talking, rather than saying, I keep setting example, doing the practical things, helping, really people, and documenting cases. And whenever any case is reported, I take it very much, that, being an empath, I really, I empathize, and then I spare time, manage time, document, pursue until the case is really addressed or something is done. So then, really, one good thing is that, really, and I'm very pleased to share with you. Most, I'm telling you, the people who I'm connected, among them, where there are the very religious one, and then they say one thing: "No, you are man of action, you are man of word, and you are man of really, that, you integrated one honesty."
Integrity. You're
Yeah.
definitely a man
So
of integrity.
actually, I think, that what I have learned one thing: you can maintain your relationship without hurting feelings of people by being practical, by being really, means through actions, rather than being very critical and taunting and criticizing. And because that we humans
Judgmental. Yeah.
our beliefs are very deep seated. It's not easy. It's not easy. How can I change? If suppose that what I'm thinking, it is not easier to really someone to come and really to change my mindset until I'm really, my mind is open up to really accept and to hear, and that. So I keep, that one of really, whatever today I am, honestly speaking, today whatever I am because of the friends like you and like other friends, because of the different perspective. And now, we have the unannounced load shedding. Now
Your
there's no
camera is
electricity.
dark. Your
So
camera.
can you see me?
No, your camera went dark,
Okay. So
but I could hear you.
yeah. So what I'm here, we have unannounced load shedding. We don't
Oh,
know at what. Here, my sister is holding the card camera. She is my older. She is my, no, younger. She is my sister and very caring. But she is also influenced by. I'm not mentioning the name, otherwise she will understand. So okay.
got
So
it.
she, okay. She is by nature. They are all are wonderful, very peace loving. But they all have different thinking. I have different thinking.
What do they
Here
think
my
about our relationship? I'd like to know.
here my younger son Ayan.
Hi.
Ayan. Here's my nephew, Sufyan.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Great. How are you?
I am fine.
Oh,
So,
beautiful.
okay. So, actually, what I wanted to say to you, what I have learned, that really, when I give my example, that rather than arguing with the people, rather than really criticizing them and making them feel hurt or hurting them or offending their feelings, it's a better really to make them realize, make them understand by being very honest and being integrated through actions, through actions, and without expecting anything in return. without expecting. Whatever I do, I'm very much clear. Everyone knows, okay, Noor does not have anything really. He does not expect anything. He's doing anything. He's doing really. He has a purpose in life. He's doing anything. He does not really that do things for really for the projection or for
Light.
any electricity light. So they know that they know.
No.
So the good thing is that really whatever I am, because of the friends and really the personal values I have learned through the friends. The friends have really taught me, and I have learned through interaction, through discussion, through conversation. Now I know, okay, these are the values, and I really value, and I practically live life. That's valuing the values, the personal value. So that I'm also setting the trends in the sense making the youth, teacher, students, practically teaching them. एक मिनट रुक सर, notes एक मिनट. So practically showing them, and really, that I share with them the cases. I tell them, okay, this is the case. Okay, that then in the cases they needed the help, and then okay, they realize that okay, why the departments are there, why the support mechanism is not there, why the people really, where is the empathy, and then we have the discussion without any argument, without any really heated discussion. So I think that if I from one thing is that really in the sense my Western friend has really influenced me a lot. Today whatever personal values I have, because of the friends I have. Because that I now really means I keep challenging my bias. I want to see, because there are the friends who lives in different countries, and some of them say that we all humans are biased. So I want to see really where I am biased. I want to challenge my bias. I want to see where Noor is biased. So that's the I want to be very much open-minded. And that's why that I really keep interacting, discussing, conversing with the friends to be very much the open-minded and to learn about the new perspectives.
I'm interested in finding out from you, what do you think your family members or your friends think about
Mhm.
you having a friend in the Western world that is a female?
They all know. They all know I have female friend, and they take positively, not negatively, because they know me by character. Okay, they know. Okay, Noor is not a. That. Yeah, they said, Noor, why you have most of your friends are female? I said, okay, that the nature. That the nature is. I don't know whether I may be the bias. I don't know, but really, what I have really most of my friends are female. I by nature I don't know, but they are very much really nature wise. They have wonderful nature. Really, they wonder. I don't know what's the reason, but when I see them, there are the amazing friends, men as well. But I think mother, the women, they have really very nature wise. I think they are really wonderful.
They're good. They accept it well.
That's
Thank
why.
you.
That's why I think. That's why I think the women should rule the world. Once they should rule the world.
Tell me, how does being Muslim influence your idea of success, and what is success to you?
Okay. You have asked me the question in the sense that a Muslim, particularly in Pakistan, or Muslim overall, you are talking about.
Well, you are Muslim, right?
Hmm.
And does your religion influence your idea of success?
No, it does not. It does
Okay.
not.
What is
I'm very
success?
much open-minded. I'm very much open-minded, and really, that without I encountered I would encounter the fears. I don't have fear. Maybe that, but really, I have learned from the friends, and uh, religion does not influence me. Does
So
not
what is
personally.
success to you?
But there are the rituals. That there
Uh-huh.
you cannot escape. You cannot escape. That's the fact. You cannot escape because you live in a country that is predominantly Muslim. You know that there are the
Right.
rituals, there are the customs, there are the rituals culturally. Very everything. The religion influences everything, so you cannot escape. But what I say so far, my thinking is concerned, my living. Personally, I'm talking. I'm not talking about my wife. I'm not talking about my sister. I'm not talking about my brother. They definitely they have. But I'm talking about me. It does not. Religion does not influence me really. But generally, religion does. Religion does influence life of every. That the Muslim I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. But what is success to you personally?
Yes, success. That. I think lifelong it's a journey, and then there are the achievements. Uh, that whether I give the example of cases, then when I see the problem. I mean, okay, the one who is trapped in a situation, very bad situation, then I help the person to ease the situation or to be in a better position, or the problem is solved. I feel very good. I feel very much relaxed, and I feel relaxed not in the sense, but I feel very really, I feel good in the sense. And what I have learned really, I don't know whether it can be success or not, but I have learned that life should life is meaningless until you really make it meaningful through your efforts. So I think that when I make the efforts, I feel that okay, I have been journeying in the direction, making my really, that miss life successful. That achievements upon achievements okay, from little to really the so you can define in the sense, okay, when you are happy, yeah, you are really, you see, okay, your life is success. You feel very much satisfied within, really, that when you have intuition, you are following, and then you are not tempted. Nothing can really tempt you. Nothing can really, that really means you have the now personal values. Then when I have the personal value, I have defined role, I see that's a success. So the I have the now personal values. I have the different. I have been really, my consciousness is being evolved. That I see in the direction that I see success. So I don't know how to define the success, but I have been learning.
Okay. So I have three more questions for you, Noor. Now that we're
Yeah.
talking about, how you're not influenced, I want to know how you feel about homosexuality and what happens to people in your culture who are born in a gender that they don't identify with. Is there any protection against them in the community? I would guess not, but I'd like to hear.
No, they are most marginalized in the sense their even rights are not recognized.
Mm.
I think hardly 1% are really, even they have the national identity card,
Ah.
Nadra.
Oh, I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you
And
about the identity card because you said that they have to have it, the girls have to have it at 18, but there's no like birth certificate or registration at birth.
generally, the trend is that, that as I said, the birth certificate, then okay, when one is 18 years old, one reaches 18 years old,
Uh-huh.
is required to have the national identity card. So they are having difficulty even to have the national identity card. There are the barriers. Now, really efforts are being in the direction, efforts are being made, but still they really, so far education is concerned, job quota is concerned, representation of theirs in parliament is concerned, they are negligible. Really, that means very, if we talk about the marginalized community, they are the most vulnerable ones. And then that people sympathize them, not empathize. See, there are the segment of the people, they sympathize them in a sense, they really means give something like okay, money, in the sense that like they sympathize. Okay,
How about
but
you? Do you
they're
sympathize or empathize or
not
like
empathize,
have you ever
not
met a
empathize, not
homosexual?
empathize.
No.
They look, they feel in the sense, okay, oh, they are really in not a good condition, okay. But they people do not understand or not really, that even media is not playing the role in the direction, or government, I don't see the effort of government, of organization to the level they should be really, to make the people understand the work of the hormones, like, okay, neurochemical, like this one. And then, okay, they have the rights, and they are humans like us, and the effort should be made to mainstream. Then I don't see such efforts. Then they are really abused. There are
Okay.
the people who abuse them. There are the people who, and they are forced by the circumstances to work as a sex worker. You know that. So
Got it.
that's actually the situation. Yeah, that's actually
Wow.
situation. They live very really, that a very difficult life here.
Wow. Thank you for
And
explaining that.
in religion, homosexuality is viewed as a sin. As a
Right.
sin and is punishable.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, got two more questions.
Yeah, yeah. You
The,
can.
the first is what kinds of stereotypes or generalizations do you think that those who are not part of your cultural group have about like Pakistan or Muslims? Why do you
The
think
people
what
you're
do you
talking about,
like
people you're talking about, the living not in Pakistan and seeing from other countries, and how the Pakistan is their perception. You are talking about that, or you are talking about within Pakistan, living in the Pakistan.
how do they
Those.
see it? Yeah. No, outside of Pakistan. Like for example, what do you think the Western world sees about Pakistan that generalizes about
They they know Pakistan through media. You
Mhm.
know, they really most and majority of them, I mean most of the people citizens living in Western world, they really don't know how the women, the Pakistan and the culture is, because I think that really they don't know what the real situation is, what the ground realities are. The way I keep sharing what I have learned through the conversation with the friends, that really they don't know, and they know the insights. So I think there should be such really connection. I think people should be connected, youth should be connected. If they want to know, they don't know, they generalize. They really, whatever they read in the media, they think it's a true picture, but that is not. That is not. They generalize. They generalize here, region to region, community, clan wise, its situation are different. So until unless they are not connected to the people living here, they cannot really know about the real situation.
So do you allow me to make this video public to make
Yes, yes,
people
you
more
can.
aware? Is
You,
that okay with you?
you can.
Okay. And then my last question is, if I had fairy wand and I came to you and I said to you, you can become oh, okay. I see you moving now. It stopped.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was frozen. Did you hear my question?
Yes, yes. No, I couldn't hear your question. Can you please repeat the question?
Yes, the question is, if you had a choice to be anything you want to be, any nationality, any ethnicity, any class, social class, any financial class, any gender, any religion, any nationality, anything at all, what would you choose and why?
Uh, it's a very really difficult to, if I really, tell what I am and what I want to be identified, it would be very difficult. And then it would be very difficult for me to live here
Got it.
in
Don't say
the
it.
country.
Don't
Yeah.
say it. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
leave it alone.
But
Okay, I understand. So let's leave it at that, especially because we are gonna make this public, so I'm not gonna ask you that question. And
you
so that
can, you
that
can,
concludes.
you can. You know that I have learned to face fear, except as I said, I don't know. But it's still one thing that I have the fear,
How about you?
and
Just text it to me and I'll put it in my records, but not in public. I won't publicize it.
no, I actually what I want to say that I have learned, I have been facing and encountering fears that I have been, but it's still, so far identification is concerned, really what my consciousness, so far my consciousness is concerned, is evolving, evolving. I don't know where it lands me, but if I see culturally, and I think my family member, extended family member, because of the bonding, they would tolerate me. Not even I don't argue with them, but really, the religion is very deep rooted. They, then it would be really, that whatever their my image to them is, then they may start thinking that, okay, oh, that is the kind of the person. And so then that there is growing intolerance here, that you cannot, sadly, you cannot show your identity, what you really are.
Got
What
it.
I am, my friends only know. The
Yeah,
friends who I converse, the friends with whom I have conversation, they know what I am. You know that. But here, the conversation I have with my friends, the friends living in different countries, I don't have such conversation with open, really, means, that the discussion. I don't have such discussion. People living, even my friends, like
mhm,
family members, relatives, I know, because that beliefs are very deep seated.
got
So it will be very difficult.
no worries. So in conclusion, would you like to say anything to the audience in conclusion of what we discovered here today? Anything you want to say?
Uh, you want me to ask question
No,
or what?
you can just like summarize it, or I could summarize it for you. What I have learned here today is that
Mhm.
there is definitely a very big difference in the way that your country sees religion, marriage, balance of life, divorce, schooling, women, all of that is very different. But in the same, I also see a lot of humanity. And I'm going to write about it and send you what I wrote to the teacher, because I have to write a 2-page reflection on this interview, and I'll send it to you so you see how I reflected on it. Um, it's very interesting to have had you to be interviewed, to interview you, to have had you here, and I'm very honored by having your presence. Um, I'm also very honored that I met your wife and your youngest child, your nephew and your sister. I want you to tell them that I'm honored and just honored. Uh, this concludes our interview. And if you would send me a text, if you did have an opportunity of another lifetime with new family members, with a new culture, with a new nationality, with a new gender, so if you wanted to, what you would choose if you were to be born again in another lifetime, what that would be like for you. Okay, you would write that for me. I'm not going to have it on recording, and I'm going to stop recording now. Would you like to say anything to the audience before I stop recording?
Thank you, Marlo, and it's really wonderful. I don't know really, the reflection of mine and conversation, where it would really land me. I don't know, but because I have been challenging my
You have been challenging. You stop it. It froze. It
biases,
froze.
I have. I really, I want to say one thing.
Uh-huh.
I want to say one thing that okay, the youth, especially youth of Pakistan, I keep telling them, I keep telling my friends, and that they should be connected to the youth, to the people living in different countries. They should know about the different cultures. They should know about the really, that the really, they should know different perspectives. And so, what will happen once they are connected and once they know about the different perspective? I think that the change will definitely uh, they will start thinking about the things from different perspectives through different lenses. So here, that the world community should also realize, the world community should also really should make efforts in the direction. Really, that means that the youth, whether it's Pakistan or the countries like Pakistan, they should be connected to see people, how the people live there. And there are the things here, image of the West. Generally, what I have seen is not viewed very positively. People see the West is conspiring and they have their agenda. But what I have seen, and through discussion of years, really, I have really, that they are very open minded, they're very generous, they're very kind. Whatever the friends I have. So I think the way they have been transforming my life, the way they are changing my life, I the same really I really wish for the youth of Pakistan and the people living in the West. They should also really think about that. They should be connected.
So there's a YouTube Pakistan, but it's not a YouTube that's global.
Yeah, they should be
Okay.
connected in the sense, I don't know how, but that when I when I converse, when I really ask questions, friends including you, and then there are the different responses and different perspectives. The same I share it, the selected WhatsApp group I have, or the people friends I'm connected to. Really, they admire, they appreciate, and they learn. So, and that is indirect in a one way, that is really also that is influencing them. Then I have discussion with them and they have discussion with me logically. So I think in one way that is also really the making them think that okay, uh, that, and the way I think that okay, miss things may start changing. This is the one of the really that what I feel that connection, human connection, can really bring about the change. There should be the human connection. They should not. That's why I think that okay, the way I connected myself, the way I engage myself, the way I that I converse with them every day. I learn something new. Then I reflect. Then I share. And the same, whatever the conversation I have, the same I really I transform. I mean, I pass on. I teach. I share. I interact with the students, with the youth, with the people, by being very practical, by being very that integrated one and honest one, the personal values as I mentioned. So the friends really share very being very open minded without any fears. I'm talking about the friends living in the West, living in the countries. Really it is benefiting indirectly or directly to many.
If I can be of any assistance there, you've got my help.
Thank
Okay.
you, ma'am.
You're welcome. I'm gonna turn off the recording.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.